It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for your weekly edition of Travel Grunt. I'm your host, Zac Wilson, and I need a vacation. Travel Grunt, brought to you by DaydreamVacations.com. What's up first on the pad of power this week in travel news? There's a bunch of cruise news for those of you watching the cruise line industry. Well, the first thing that I want to mention is that lobbyists working together with the Cruise Line International Association and the American Society of Travel Advisors in Washington, they've put together a Senate bill demanding that the CDC resume cruise ship sailing at U.S. ports by July 4th of 2021. This does go in line with President Biden's goal of resuming the nation to some normalcy by July 4th. Also, states like Alaska, who rely heavily on the tourism industry of the cruise travel, is actually looking to sue the CDC for delaying the return to cruise travel as it has negatively impacted their state's economy. Also with cruise lines, we want to note that there is going to be cruising for U.S. citizens this summer, just not from U.S. ports. For example, Royal Caribbean has announced sailings from Bermuda and from Nassau, Bahamas. So you would fly over to Bermuda or the Bahamas, you would board the ship there, sail throughout the Caribbean, and then fly home back from those ports. Other cruise lines like Norwegian and Crystal Cruises have done the same with ports from Montego Bay, Jamaica, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Check it out with your favorite cruise line. I will say that so far Carnival Cruise Lines has not made such an announcement, but it is worth looking into for this summer. Also in the travel news this week, Hotel Paradiso Paris. Hotel Paradiso Paris. When I think of Hotel Paradiso, I think of the all-inclusives in Mexico. I don't think of Paradiso when I think of Paris, France. But they've opened up a hotel and called it the first cinema hotel. All of the rooms and suites have gigantic cinema movie screens and access to thousands of movies. Talk about binge watching in style. Yes, please. But they also have the first open-air cinema up on top of the roof of the hotel. So imagine, you're in Paris. The skyline is beautiful. Everything around you is wonderful, and you're up on the roof with these beautiful views, and you're watching a movie in an open-air cinema. Now, the best room of the whole place, the Grand Cinema Suite, has its own separate room cinema. Invite your friends in, and you can have your own theater party. It's also interesting to mention with these large screens that every room has a PlayStation 5 for you gamers out there. Talk about binge watching and playing games in style at the Hotel Paradiso in Paris. What's next on the pad of power? Hey, Zac, what are you daydreaming about? I don't know. What am I daydreaming about? I'll tell you what I'm daydreaming about. We mentioned it earlier, a return to cruising in Alaska. Because truly, Alaska is a gigantic state with a lot of amazing opportunities, and the best way to really go about it is by cruise ship. Some of these places, like Skagway, for instance, you can only be reached by plane or by ship. You cannot drive there. This is a small town of maybe 400 residents. They don't even have a hospital there. God forbid you break your leg or have a stroke, you're going to have to be flown by float plane or helicopter to a neighboring place with a hospital like Anchorage. This is why I do recommend travel insurance when traveling through Alaska, because that emergency flight will cost you between $50,000 and $70,000. That's not a souvenir that you want to have. So when booking that cruise, get the travel protection. But that being said, one of the things I wanted to point out in Travel Weekly magazine is I like this right here. Look at that headline. Small ship operators offer Alaska adventures. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's go ahead and give you a look at some of the pictures here. There is the article. We'll scroll through here. You can see how beautiful that is, but look at the size of that ship. Very small ship. You can see the wildlife and the rafts and the very small ship ideas. Here's the thing. So the cruise order stops large cruise ships and large passenger vessels. Okay. Another reason is that the Prime Minister of Canada is not allowing any vessel with more than 100 passengers to dock at, say, Vancouver, BC. Well, these ships have less than 100 passengers. Therefore, they are not prevented by the conditional sailing order or by the Prime Minister of Canada. So imagine just having 50, 60, maybe 90 people on these small vessels. So I highlighted some notes here I want to share with you. So Alaskan Dream Cruises is one option. They know the 5-day trip stops at Sitka, Skagway, Juneau, visits Glacier Bay, and spotlights wildlife in the Chatham Strait and the Lynn Canal. That sounds incredible. Uncruise Adventures uses a hub and spoke approach where they will position themselves in a scenic spot and then kind of use that as a home base of operations to go out to places for hiking, kayaking, paddle boating, whale watching, etc. So that's another great option. Lindblad Expeditions says photographers can take tips from National Geographic certified instructors while on board or during 2 pre-trip photography seminars, and that's new for 2021. And of course, American Cruise Lines, the Alaskan Explorer Expedition stops at 11 ports over 10 days. You can still visit Alaska and cruise in 2021. It's just a different experience. It's not going to be these larger vessels like the Royal Princess or Holland America. Another way you can still visit Alaska and go help them with their tourism economy is you could do a wilderness lodge and train vacation up to Denali National Park from Anchorage, and I think that is a great opportunity. Okay, what's next on the pad of power? So we're going to go ahead and give the Travel Grunt Squeal, where we squeal on a do-gooder. This could be a person, it could be a company, it could be somebody just doing something great in your community, or it could be travel-based. So this week we're giving our squeal to Norwegian Cruise Lines. They are allowing guests who have been canceled on more than once during this pandemic to convert their future cruise credits back to a full refund. This is big news. For those of you who have been involved in this the last year with the cruise lines, when the cruises got canceled, they gave you an option. You could take a full refund, of course, or you could choose a future cruise credit and get some kind of bonus. Some of the cruise lines gave you a 25% bonus value. Some gave you a $600 onboard credit. But the fine print is once a credit, always a credit. You can never opt for a refund later. So you must use it on a future sailing or forfeit it. So that is the fine print. And if you had a professional travel advisor helping you, they would have walked you through that. Some folks didn't read the fine print. Let's admit it. We all do it with the Apple terms and conditions. You don't read it. You check the box and you move on. Well, this was an important one to read. Well, Norwegian Cruise Line has decided this has gone on long enough. It's gotten really silly, and they want to do the ethical thing. They want to operate with integrity. So they're offering their guests, if you opted for a future cruise credit and you have been canceled on more than once, so say you used that credit on a second sailing and that sailing got canceled, they're now allowing you to convert it back to a full refund. Thank you, Norwegian Cruise Line, for doing the right thing. Here is your Travel Grunt Squeal. Wee, wee, wee. All right, what's next on the pad of power? I do like to end every show with an inspiring travel quote. This one comes from J.R.R. Tolkien, of course, the author who wrote The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And he said, "Little by little, one travels far." One vacation at a time, we can go visit another culture and another community. One vacation at a time, we can go do something amazing. We can go to Machu Picchu. We can go to Alaska. We can go to Hawaii. We can go to the Caribbean. We can go to Paris and watch a movie on a rooftop. And we can just get to know our world a little bit better. Until next time, this is Zac Wilson with Daydream Vacations. Thank you for watching Travel Grunt.